It's showtime for Days of Our Lives' Sophia Choi, a recent high school graduate who just wants to go to college and live a normal life. However, she is pregnant and about to give birth alone in her bedroom on the July 2nd episode. After spending most of her pregnancy searching for the perfect adoptive parents her overbearing mother would approve of, Sophia is on her own at home when her water breaks and she realizes she won't get to the hospital on time. Sophia knows she is going to have to deliver her baby on her own, something that Rachel Boyd prepared for ahead of time. "I was very fearful of the character giving birth," Boyd told She Knows Soaps. "I thought, how am I going to play this honestly? Not just to portray the birth and the physical aspect, but also to be able to conceptualize and relate to that bond that new mothers feel afterwards. That isn't really something you can study in the same way." Boyd eventually watched the film Philomena, in which a woman searches for the son she gave up for adoption. When she learns he has passed, she is moved to hear that he had a strong handshake. Boyd used that moment when Sophia held her baby for the first time. "And it's baby prop, right? It's not even a real baby," she said. "But I remember looking at it and thinking, I wonder if he'll have a strong handshake." It connected that feeling for me. From the looks of Day's newest extended preview, Sophia doesn't want anyone to get attached to the baby, especially Tate, so she drops him off at the fire station, which is a safe haven for abandoned newborns. She lies to Tate and tells him that she gave birth to a girl and found adoptive parents in the nick of time. However, that doesn't mean that Sophia has not formed a strong bond with her son. "She can never be the same again after this experience," Boyd said. "The character will be changed forever on the other side. She is going to understand her power and her independence in a new way. And she also now has an emotional tie to another little person who she's going to want to protect no matter what, in whatever capacity she can." Since this is a soap, we know Sophia's big secret will eventually come to light. What will she do about her baby then? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome to the Days of Our Lives Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. Chanel had the same reaction we did when EJ announced he was Johnnys lawyer. It doesn't matter that she made all the correct points about why this is absurd. Days of Our Lives is still letting it happen with some very flimsy excuses. No. A judge would never sign off on the victim of an attempted murder, defending the accused, especially when the accused is his own son. That is more insane than Belle getting herself back on the case so she can prosecute her own nephew. What kind of nonsense is this? Sure, it might add some heightened drama, but when it comes time for the trial, this is going to feel mighty ridiculous. Lovers Belle and EJ will be going against one another in court to defend and prosecute their own son and nephew, respectively. How is that even going to work? We have seen some bizarre court cases and legal conflicts of interest on soaps during our 40-plus years watching, but this one takes the cake. Why would Johnny even allow this? How would this look right to a jury? This could have been a fascinating trial, but now it will be mired in this absurd lawyer situation. It frankly makes us not even care who shot EJ at this point. Yes, we are being picky, and we know this is not as much of a stretch as the devil jumping bodies for 6 months, but we still don't like it. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full DOOL recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is, Aish, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Days of Our Lives is turning up the heat this summer. A new promo that's been released on social media shows plenty of drama, romance, intrigue, and danger ahead for Marlena, Sammy, the Hortons, the Kiriakises, the Damaras, and more. Days head writers Paula Quickly and Janie Marie Ford have devised compelling tales that are going to keep viewers on the edge of their seats. As you can see in the promo below, the stories are set to feature, among others, veteran cast members including Marlena, Julie, and Maggie. Newcomers Tate, Sophia, and Ari, and returning favorites Sammy, Anna, and, just maybe, Stefano. This summer, there is something for everyone. Days is set to tell another missing baby storyline, as evidenced by an anxious Sophia, tearfully telling a bundle of joy in her arms, "I can't let anybody see you." Later, we see Tate asking about his newborn child. Sophia's reply that the adoptive parents were there with her. She let them take her home right away. Just doesn't sound like the truth. Especially as we see a hooded Sophia slip out of her room with a baby in her arms. Later, we see Javi holding a newborn, explaining to Kayla at the hospital that he had been left in the safe haven box at the fire station. That's a coincidence. Is Sophia's baby a her or a him? Recently, we learned that Johnny did not attempt to kill his dad, but that's not stopping him from going to trial. His odds of getting found innocent are going up because the victim in question, EJ, is serving as Johnny's attorney. Miss Black has a major conflict of interest. EJ dramatically declares of his girlfriend/opposing counsel, Belle, during the trial. Does being on opposite sides of this case mean it's over for EJ and Belle's romance? Maybe not. Watch for Leo to share with Ravi that he was broached with blackmail, while Rachel fears her testimony will send Johnny to jail. Could the answer to whether or not Johnny goes to jail be discovered outside the courtroom? Belle will not only question Rachel on the witness stand, but she'll also ask her mother, Marlena, in private if she knows who shot EJ. Business stories without personal ties can be as boring as watching paint dry. That's not the case with Victor Kiriakis' heirs, Brady, Xander, Philip, and Alex, as they struggle for power. "I've spent most of my adult life vying for this top spot," Brady declares. Watch for Alex to question Xander about whether or not there's something they need to worry about. Watch for Maggie, Victor's widow, to fiercely protect her late husband's legacy. The DeMeras are getting in on the action, too. Gabby will ask Tony if the DeMera family will fight fire with fire. Correcting her, Tony announces that they'll fight fire with arson. EJ's not spending all his time in the courtroom. He may enlist Gwen in his plan to gain some vital information from Steve. Maggie may be looking out for Victor's legacy, but Julie will remind her aunt, "Once a Horton, always a Horton." There's an overdue reunion when Sammy comes home and has emotional moments with Marlena, EJ, and Eric. "Where does the time go?" Sammy rhetorically but emotionally asks her twin. Jennifer will honor her late grandfather Tom by announcing at a gala, "With the opening of the Dr. Tom Horton Free Clinic, my grandfather's legacy will continue to serve the community." Whatever secrets Sophia may or may not be keeping about her and Tate's baby may come back to haunt her. Watch for her to declare, "Nothing is turning out the way I thought it would." Zara fans who are hoping that Xander and Sarah will be getting back together soon may have a long wait. Watch for Sarah to tell her estranged husband, "You can spend your time doing whatever the hell you want. So can I." It will not sit well with Xander to see Sarah passionately kiss Brady. Not every couple on Days is in conflict. Some are tighter than ever, including Johnny and Chanel, and Alex and Stephanie. Watch for a physical fight between Doug Williams III and Tate. Could it be fatal? Meanwhile, Marlena is facing drama on numerous fronts. Her great-granddaughter Ari is kidnapped. The good doctor will faint in the courtroom, prompting concern from Belle. Also, Marlena will have a dream that she is once again the queen of the night. Veteran Days fans recall that that's the handle that the late Stefano bestowed upon her years ago. There's a reason Stefano is known as the Phoenix, Rafe cautions Kat. However, Stefano may not truly be dead. We'll see Anna tell her beloved Tony that someone is claiming his father is alive. Anna thinks the idea is ludicrous. A sly Tony, as usual, plays what he knows close to his vest. "It's almost time, father," Tony cryptically says later. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that Michael Rourke will make a mysterious debut this October 2025, so the Young and the Restless alum is about to head over to Salem. It's confirmed that Rourke has joined the show and that he'll kick off his run the first week of October, but DOOL's staying tight-lipped on the news of who he's playing. However, there are some clues that could point to the identity of Michael Rourke's Mystery Days character. We're hearing some rumblings that Rourke might be playing Jeremy Horton, which makes sense considering he looks so much like Jeremy's previous portrayer, Trevor Donovan. Plus, Day's recent Summer and Beyond preview video points to Mike Horton returning for the opening of the Dr. Tom Horton Free Clinic. Mike is Jeremy's father, so we could certainly imagine him being on canvas when his son makes a comeback as well. Abigail Klein also follows Rourke on Instagram, which is worth mentioning since Stephanie happens to be Jeremy's former flame. In other words, there's no guarantee that Rourke will be playing Jeremy when he hits town this October, but there's definitely evidence to support the idea. Jeremy was last seen in 2007, but it may be time for him to resurface this fall. As for Michael Rourke, Y&R fans may remember him from his stint as Travis Crawford in Genoa City, where he was paired with Victoria Newman for some sizzling storylines back in 2016. Rourke's other film and television projects include The Black Dagger Brotherhood, Catalyst, Driven, Roped, and more. Now Rourke is set to return to the soap world with his imminent Days debut, so we'll be sure to pass along updates as his first air date gets closer. It'll be exciting to see what Rourke's material looks like when he shows up in Salem starting this October. Days of Our Lives spoilers say some shockers and shakeups are ahead in the coming months, so we'll fill you in on any other cast additions and hot plot developments. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, July 2nd, reveal that Sophia Choi will drop off her baby in the safe haven box, so firefighter EMT Javi Hernandez is about to make a surprising discovery. DOOL fans know Sophia's water just broke, so she's definitely in panic mode. Instead of giving birth at the hospital, Sophia will give birth in her bedroom and decide she can't let anyone else see her newborn. Tate Black has been envisioning his son's first steps and other milestones, so he clearly suspects the gender is male. Days spoilers say Tate will be proven right when Sophia indeed brings a baby boy into the world. However, Sophia is determined to let adoptive parents raise this child. If Tate sees this little one, Sophia may worry that he'll grow even more attached and fight to keep him. Sophia won't want to face new pressure from Amy Choi either, so she'll think the best thing she can do is give up her baby ASAP. Days spoilers say Sophia will sneak off to the fire station, where there's a safe haven box that allows mothers to drop off their babies anonymously. Although it'll be hard for Sophia to give the baby up, she'll believe it's what's best for everyone. Sophia will also get rid of the towels and any other evidence that she gave birth at home. Within the next episode or two, Sophia will send out an SOS to Melinda Trask and get her help crafting a bogus story, one that'll trick Tate into thinking she had a baby girl, and that the adoptive parents already took her home. As for Javi, he'll find Sophia's newborn son in the safe haven box and rush him to the hospital so that she can get checked out. This will pave the way for Javi and Leo Stark to look after the baby, though they obviously won't know Sophia was behind the drop-off. While Javi updates Leo on the latest baby news, Steve Johnson will have some important info to share with Julie Williams, most likely about the necklace she still hopes to get her hands on. As for Maggie Kyriakis, she'll push Sarah Horton Kyriakis to use her as a confidant. Days spoilers say Sarah will indeed get some things off her chest regarding Xander Kyriakis, so she'll appreciate Maggie's support. Holly Johnnys also has some scenes coming up with Maggie and Sarah before she turns her attention to something on her phone. Tate might text Holly about meeting up, or maybe she could push for a meeting instead. Either way, Days of Our Lives spoilers say Holly and Tate will reunite romantically later this week, so stay tuned. Jaws dropped when Days of Our Lives summer preview hinted at a comeback for the late, great Stefano DiMera, played from 1982-2016 by the also late, great Joseph Mascolo. There's a reason he's known as the Phoenix, Rafe noted. No matter how badly burned the powermonger is, he always finds a way to rise from the ashes. In fact, the indestructible villain has already returned once since he was killed by Hope, with his essence being implanted in good guy Steve. How will the Peacock soap bring Stefano back this time? Good question, since Steve is running around Salem and the video hints that Stefano is about to awaken from the ultimate power nap, it seems unlikely that Kayla's husband will once again be taken over by the menace to society. So, who will be Stefano when he is reactivated? We actually have a few ideas about that. actors who could pick up where Mascolo left off and make their own mark on the role. Initially, we thought, nah, they can't really recast. That would be like replacing Bold and Beautiful's OG Sally Spectra or General Hospital's Luke Spencer. But then we thought, what better testament could there be to the iconic character that Mascolo created that even years after his passing, Stefano's name remains on everyone's lips? Neither we nor the show can let go. Pau Telfer not only detailed what methods Xander will employ to beat Sarah, but also what might limit the couple's battle plans. Xander and Sarah are headed for a custody battle on Days of Our Lives. After she realized he was the one who pulverized Philip, nearly killing him, and he learned she kept the forged letter a secret from him, they split. But recently, Sarah allowed Xander to see baby Victoria briefly, but things are only just beginning as Xander has removed the kid gloves, and Paul Telfer explained what could happen next. Xander has often given in to his criminal proclivities, and Telfer told Soaps that his character has often kidnapped children over the years. There's always an option, right, of kidnapping Victoria? He mused, but he countered that Sarah and Xander want to do right by their little girl, which keeps allowing these little cracks of light into the relationship. Xander might need those rays of light eventually because he's on a collision course with darkness. He already has Melinda working for him, and he asked her to perform a Melinda Trask special. Essentially, he wants her to use every means necessary to get him full custody, meaning he won't mind if the methods aren't exactly above board. Telfer noted that as the story unfolds, Xander and Sarah will have ample opportunity to do maximum damage to each other. He stated that, however, their united love for baby Victoria helps fuel the desire to do what's best for her as a kind of break on their behaviors. The actor also explained that without Sarah, and left to his own devices, Xander is just forced to reckon with himself. That's going to create some inner soul searching for the Neanderthal-like Kyriakis. This being Nantisias, and he may have to get off his high horse to do business with Sarah. Considering he seems to be softening his stance toward Philip, it's very possible that the couple could patch things up and reunite. Sophia delivered her baby alone and then made a life-changing and heartbreaking decision. There's a lot to unpack in the Wednesday, July 2nd episode of Days of Our Lives. Sophia, she did it. She gave birth alone while her family was out for dinner and a movie. She had to act quickly and took it upon herself to make a drastic next step. Meanwhile, a uniformed Javi started work at the fire station. Doug did his best to distance himself from Holly, while also getting quite the dressing down from Julie, who received good news. Plus, Sarah contemplated divorce while Holly and Tate reunited. It's still hard to believe that Sophia gave birth to a baby boy alone. The teen looked appropriately devastated physically and emotionally, however, but she had to quickly get her act together. There were decisions to make before her mother came home, and she did it. She held her baby, and then she dropped him off at the fire station, where she placed him in the safe haven box. And now she has to piece together a plausible story that Mama Choi, Tate, Brady, and everybody else will believe. She also has 14 days to change her mind about giving up her boy. However, something tells us she's going to stick to her guns. She made a phone call, most likely to Melinda Trask, who can hopefully get her to a doctor and help her clean up her mess. Sophia did all of this while Tate and Holly reconnected in a big way. Holly invited herself over to Tate's so she could check on him, but also to tell him that she made it into the Sorbonne. But their conversation veered into relationship territory when she confessed that nothing happened with Doug III, and that she could only think about Tate. Tate felt the same about Holly, and the two kissed and reunited. At the same time, they're also afraid that something will come in and mess with their happiness. History is on their side, considering Sophia's baby story plus a kidnapping are headed their way soon. Sophia giving up her baby had another unintended effect. Javi brought the baby boy to the hospital, where he encountered Steve and Kayla. Steve couldn't bear for the baby to be placed in a less-than-ideal foster situation. As a result, Javi made a split-second decision, and on his first night as a first responder, he brought the baby home. Will Leo and Javi end up deciding to adopt when Sophia doesn't show up to claim custody of her son? Meanwhile, Steve had big news for Julie. He had a lead on Alice's necklace. Thanks to Bo, Hope, and Austin, with his forensics accounting skills, they actually found the necklace, and it's on the way back to Salem. Hallelujah! They better keep that necklace safe and sound once it gets back to town. And Julie is so done with Doug III, isn't she? When he approached her in Horton Town Square, she was unforgiving. And if she had the opportunity, she would have told Doug to stop using her late husband's name, period. What she did let him know was that he wasn't worthy of the moniker. Ouch! What did you think of everything that happened in Wednesday's episode? How about Sarah contemplating divorcing Xander and the parallels Maggie discussed with her regarding Victor? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that the soap has released a sizzling summer promo. This one has so much action and suspense. Expect clues about Stefano DiMera. Jennifer Devereaux gives a speech for the Tom Horton Clinic. Sophia Choi gives her baby away. Plus, Gwen Rizchek returns to play spy games in Salem. Keep reading and let's get started. The preview begins with Sophia, who experiences labor while alone in her bedroom. Instead of calling 911, the teenager gives birth in her bed. Then, Sophia cradles the newborn in a blanket. The new mother tells the baby that nobody can find out about them. Then, a flashback shows Sophia dressed in an oversized hooded jacket lurking around a dark corner. It turns out to be the safe haven box at the fire station. At least she had the sense to do that. Later, Sophia already has a cover story for Tate Black. The teenage girl claims that the adoptive parents were with her when she delivered. In addition to that, Sophia also claims that they wanted to take her home right away. Here seems to either be a mistake or a clue. Sophia called the baby her, but later in the promo, Javi Hernandez refers to the baby as a him. Speaking of Javi, he takes the baby from the fire station to the hospital to get checked out by Kayla Johnson. Over at the courthouse, Paulina Price is on the stand. The mayor tells the court how Johnny DiMera said E.J. DiMera got what he deserved. Meanwhile, Javi tells Leo that he tried to bribe me. Back over at the courthouse, E.J. claims that Belle Black has a major conflict of interest. There is also Rachel Black, who also gets on the stand to testify. However, afterward, Rachel is full of guilt and freaks out over Johnny possibly going to prison. Later, Belle asks Marlena Evans if she knows who shot E.J. Days of Our Lives spoilers. For summer 2025, reveal that E.J. tells Gwen to find out what Steve Johnson knows and stop him. Meanwhile, Stephanie Johnson questions her father about the company he's investigating. Anna DiMera laughs as she tells Tony DiMera that she thinks Stefano is alive. Tony smiles, but it seems like he might know something. There is also a scene showing Tony and Gabby Hernandez fighting fire with arson. The sizzling summer promo also shows Maggie Horton Kyriakis gearing up for war. Jennifer speaks at the Dr. Tom Horton Clinic celebration. Will Horton and Sammy Brady both reunite with Marlena. However, Marlena ends up passing out during Johnny's trial. When she wakes up, she tells Belle about becoming the queen of the night. Sophia takes inappropriate photos of Holly Johnnys. It sounds like the old scheming Sophia is back. Just when Holly and Tate reunite, she has to come up with a new way to split them apart. Speaking of Holly, she gets kidnapped with Ari Horton. Will Doug Williams III and Tate be able to save them? The final scene reveals why Shane needs Kat at the agency. Shane explains there is a reason why Stefano is called the Phoenix. Maggie has harsh words for Xander. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday, July 3rd give Brady a break from listening to Kristen lecture him about Rachel by giving him the chance to lecture Sarah about Xander. Brady has never liked his cousin saw Uncle Xander. He'd love to see him in prison for beating up Philip. But if Philip isn't going to cooperate, well then, the next best thing for Brady would be to see Xander dumped by Sarah and forbidden from seeing his baby daughter, Victoria. And if Sarah isn't committing to the program, Brady is happy to encourage her to do whatever she has to protect herself and Victoria from Xander. For her sake, of course. Brady will be here to support her and maybe give her some pointers. Maggie likes Xander, probably more than most people in Salem, but she is, nonetheless, Team Sarah all the way. And when Xander tries to remind Maggie how much she likes him and how happy she was to have him as a son-in-law and her granddaughter's father, Maggie isn't there for it. She claps back, making Xander realize he may have no allies left to help with reuniting his family. While Sophia does her best to ensure their mutual futures by discussing her baby's adoption plan with Melinda, Tate is kissing up to Holly, so that his ex-girlfriend becomes his girlfriend again. So now the self-described star-crossed lovers are reunited, and they feel so good. How does Sophia feel? Oh, who cares? She's busy with her baby drama. She probably has no time to worry about normal teen stuff. They're doing her a favor, not bothering her. She should thank them, really. Rachel Boyd took a deep dive into Sophia's mentality and how finally giving birth will transform her into a formidable young woman. It won't be long before Days of Our Lives Sophia gives birth. The story of Sophia and Tate as impending teen parents is not the usual kind. It wasn't quite a romance, more like a dalliance, when they slept together after it looked like Tate and Holly were over. However she got pregnant, Sophia's facing several adult decisions that will affect her whole life. Rachel Boyd recently opened up about how Sophia's entire world will be changed after she gives birth. Sophia and Tate were planning on giving their baby up for adoption because they felt they were too young to be effective parents. Boyd discussed the storyline with Soap Opera Digest and explained that a new version of Sophia, a 2.0, if you will emerge after she has the baby. She explained, she can never be the same again after this experience. One result is going to be the connection she will have with the baby that will activate her motherly instincts. Not only is Sophia going to want to protect her new child, but she'll also begin to understand her power and her independence in a new way. She's going to be a bit more mama bear, for lack of a better word, Boyd explained, showing how much Sophia will change. While Leo is now on the fence about whether he agrees with the decision to give up the child, Sophia's going to hold on to her life choices as they affect her body and her decision-making about what happens to her body. Boyd further noted that Sophia has learned that many of these decisions can sometimes be out of her ability to control. But this means that she might resort to desperate measures to get her desired outcome. She's 18 now and feels that no one, not even her mother, can tell her how to deal with her pregnancy. She prepared fans to get ready for a fierce new Sophia who's going to take charge of her life. Hall broke our hearts in June as Marlena put on a brave face as she said goodbye to the love of her life. On Days of Our Lives, the month of June was largely devoted to saying goodbye to an iconic character and a daytime legend, Drake Hogestein. His equally legendary co-star, Deidre Hall, gave one heartbreaking performance after another as Marlena came to terms with the fact that she would no longer have the love of her life by her side. Much like we're commending Hall for giving amazing performances during such a challenging and heartbreaking time, we must commend the rest of the day's cast involved in the hospital, the funeral scenes, and the scenes at the pub, when John's chosen family remembered him and drank to him. Each actor infused their characters with a strength, even when their characters' pain over losing John felt so real and so palpable. They had viewers in tears day after day after day. Hall's iconic character guided us through this new world that she was suddenly forced to live in. A world without John. Marlena started the month by giving John permission to rest, and she ended June by going into protector mode for her grandson, Johnny. In between, the grief Marlena felt over losing her husband was permanently etched on her face. It never left her. You could see it in the way she looked at her family and friends, the way she repeatedly listened to John's "I love you" voicemail, and even in the way that Marlena attempted to come up with things to do so she wouldn't have to stop and think about what she's lost. Marlena is strong, but currently, there's a pure, unadulterated grief that's always waiting to bubble up to the surface. It was especially fascinating when the psychiatrist had to go to the hospital because her grief physically affected her body. When Sarah came back with the test results, she told Marlena that physically, she was fine. But she wasn't fine, was she? Days of Our Lives spoilers suggest that Kat Green's life may get far more complicated than it already is. She's currently dancing around the idea of a romance with Chad DiMera, and as these two have had their fair share of obstacles, it's nice to see them finally diving in and dating. Sadly, her past as an ISA agent and current assignment will make things messy for her new romance. Plus, her handsome new partner could also make things sticky. Considering she once paraded around as Abigail Dimera, all because Clyde Weston blackmailed her, it's natural and normal that Chad had trust issues with Kat. Still, he eventually got over those and has decided to get to know her better. Unfortunately, this all coincides with Shane Donovan also twisting her arm to help him with a new ISA assignment. Add in the fact that resident hottie Rafe Hernandez is her new partner. Plus, she's investigating EJ Dimera, Chad's brother, whom he's close to. And it's hard for DOOL fans to shake off the idea that if Kat doesn't fill Chad in on the new developments that have taken place in her life, she could blow romance with him right out of the water. Days of Our Lives spoilers imply that sparks could fly between Rafe and Kat, especially as they dive deep into this ISA investigation. Plenty of interaction and late-night encounters could only increase the chemistry between these two. So will Kat be overly upset if Chad decides to split? With that said, the last thing she wants to do is hurt him. After all, she's already done enough damage when she pretended to be Abby. It'll be interesting to see if Kat starts to develop feelings for Rafe and how this all will affect her budding romance with Chad. Especially since he has a slew of people, mainly Abby's family, warning him against trusting Kat.